Hi, Thomas from Field Tennis. If you lack power and smoothness on your ground strokes, then you may be missing on one of the universal laws of physics or biomechanics that applies to all ground strokes. So if I hit one forehand, and I hit one-handed backhand, and I hit a two-handed backhand, then they look very, very different from each other, and yet they share one universal swing path, one universal law of physics and biomechanics that allows us to accelerate the racket very effortlessly.
All the pros use the universal swing path on all strokes, whether that's a forehand, one-handed backhand, or a two-handed backhand. Of course, some use it more and some use it less, but they all use it. And by universal swing path, I mean a sideways swing path that you may not have noticed until now. I'll explain now how this swing path happens and how to learn it, and I'll come back to Federer and Nadal once you understand this concept better.
The idea that I'm going to show you today has been inspired by my good friend Mili Velkovic, from whom I have learned a lot of very good and effective ways of teaching tennis, especially to adults and juniors. Mili is very big on swings, and he has very unique ways of teaching tennis. Please check Mili's website. I'm going to give you a link to his channel and see what magic he can do with players. So let me go on. The idea of a universal swing path starts like this. If I just stand and I swing my arm and my racket like a pendulum, so all the time think about swings and pendulums in this video. So just imagine all the time we're talking about swings and pendulums. So if I swing my racket like this, you see I'm not holding it very tight so that you can see it's just swinging. And if I don't turn my body, then it's going to go in a straight line. When I start to turn my body, the racket starts to go in a number 8. And so this happens quite automatically because the rotation of my body is starting to swing my arm away from the body, and then my arm comes closer to the body, and as I rotate, the arm goes away from the body again. So body rotations make the arm swing away from the body. So the same goes for one-handed backhand. See, if I rotate my hips and I just simulate a little bit my backhand, you can see that this automatically happens. Now when we do this, what we create is we create a little centrifugal force. We create a little circle here, and this creates a centrifugal force that wants to accelerate the racket, or it does accelerate the racket when I rotate my hips. And so we need to swing outwards and not backwards. We need always to swing outwards. And when we swing outwards, the racket will automatically swing back. And then as we rotate the body, the racket will swing inside out. Perhaps you have heard of the idea of swinging inside out from some coaches, but you didn't really know where does that come from. So the swinging inside out, the inside out swing, happens automatically, very naturally, if we first swing outwards in the backswing. So if we swing outwards and I go like this, you can see that my racket wants to go in a circle. And so as I swing outwards, the racket comes here and I rotate my hips, the racket automatically goes first outwards and then over like this. So same on the backhand, it goes outwards. Same two-handed backhand. If I go outwards, the racket comes inwards automatically. As I rotate my hips, the racket will be swung outwards in an inside-out swing path. So all that happens very naturally just based on laws of physics. And I want to show you a very simple way of learning this universal swing path. The easiest way to learn this swing path is just to put the racket down on the ground, because the racket, the shape of the racket, gives us a perfect visual image of the swing path. Namely, what we have to do is we have to follow the racket's frame. So first we swing outwards, we follow the frame, then it will automatically swing around, our arm will swing around, and then we are going to start swinging inside out, and then we just have to go forwards, because on every stroke we have to give the ball some forward momentum in order to give it direction. So we cannot just swing in a circle. we use this circle here to generate momentum, to create a centrifugal force, which is going to help us accelerate the racket when we rotate the hips. And so just your tennis racket is the perfect training aid for learning the universal swing path. Just follow the racket with the hand, swing the arm, relax, and go outward, inward, forward. This way, forward. This way, forward. And just make sure that you're rotating your hips. This way, forward. So first try just with the hand, just see that you follow the racket path. Of course, this applies to backhand and forehand. So if I go on this side, I can practice backhand. So from ready position, I go outward always. I follow the frame of the racket. I go outward, inward, straight. This way, straight. This way, straight. With two hands, the same. This way, straight. Outward, inward. Then we create inside-out swing automatically when we rotate the hips. Our arms will be flung outwards if we're relaxed enough. And then we need to give the ball just the direction. So here's the same exercise from a bit further away that you see how it goes. So what I want to do is I want to swing my arm outwards. I want to relax my arm. I want to swing my arm outwards. Then if I'm relaxed enough, my arm will automatically come around. It's going to swing around. And when it's somewhere around here, I rotate my hips. And then my arm will be automatically swung outwards, the inside-out swing path, which I then have to modify a little bit to hit the ball forward. And so this way, and forward. So this happens very naturally. So I'm just following the shape of the racket, and I imagine the shape outward, the swing is always outward. Then if we're relaxed, the arm comes around. We rotate the hips. That's how we create an inside-out swing path, which we then modify a little bit so that the arm goes straight, that it doesn't go like this, for example. On every ball, we need some extension. We need to stay with the ball. We want to keep the ball on the strings a little bit longer in order to give the ball good control and good direction. So that's the exercise first, just with the hand. And then you try the same with the racket. You go outward, inward, forward. This way. You can see this is the basic swing path of a forehand if we're just looking from this plane. So we're not looking now in this plane, we're just looking in this plane on the ground from top-down view, like drone view. How does the hand and the racket move? So it moves like this. The racket does not move back forward. It does not move back forward. It always moves outward in order to create this centrifugal force. And just here I have to give the ball some direction, whether I play down the line or I play cross court. I have to give the ball direction, but I accelerate the arm and the racket in a very natural way by using the universal swing path principle. So I always swing outwards, I relax. Here the racket comes around and I can easily accelerate it. And the same goes for one-handed backhand and two-handed backhand. So from ready position, I don't go this way with the backhand. I always go outward a bit, outward. I go like this and forward. So I go outward, my arm swings automatically this way. If it's relaxed enough, you relax and forward. This way and forward. This way and forward. So it's very similar to throwing the ball. Let me try one. So you can see if I'm doing this way, then throwing the ball like this is very natural. That's probably what you would do. You would swing and throw the ball like this. You wouldn't throw the ball like this. You wouldn't go back. You would probably create a little swing here and throw the ball. And the same goes for one-handed backhand. You wouldn't throw the ball like this, but you would very naturally and easily throw the ball by doing a swing like this. Like this. So this is the principle, the law of physics or the law of biomechanics on which all ground strokes are based. And so